What's up, guys? I'm trying out my new little, what do they call it? I was about to say iPod. You didn't get no iPod. Tripod. It's all good. So yesterday we talked about Skyrim vampirism. So now let's talk about Skyrim lycanthropy. I say lycanthropy if it's wrong. Anyways. Okay, so a little bit different from vampirism. Well, not a little bit, like way different from vampirism. But one of the things that is very different when it comes to curing the disease, if you cure vampirism, you could always become a vampire again. So it's not like that's it, you cured it and you never become a vampire. You could become a vampire again. With lycanthropy, it's the other way around. If you cure it, you can never become a werewolf again. It's a one-way ticket to the cure. Like, that's it. No more wolfy. They look a little more monster-like in Skyrim. I was reading that in Morrowind they look more like a wolf, but in this one they're more muscular. They have more of a vicious face. I really want to become a werewolf in Skyrim. Not so much because of the advantages or anything like that, or whatever you get from it. More because I just love werewolves. I just love the legend behind them, and I really want to make my character become a werewolf. And it seems like the werewolves always have this, like, good aspect to them, where they're the good guys, and the vampires are the bad guys. But don't get me wrong, it's not like everybody loves werewolves because they're cute and cuddly. There are some factions that actually hunt werewolves, like the Silverhand. They hunt werewolves, and the way that you could know that you have entered a Silverhand camp is they have werewolf heads on pikes outside of the camps. So if you're a werewolf, you might want to be careful around there. So the only way to become a werewolf in Skyrim is by drinking the blood of a werewolf. And this is available to you as a quest through the companions. This is a spoiler, so if you guys don't want to know anything about how to become a werewolf or anything like that, I'd probably say don't watch this or skip this part, because this is going into... I didn't know this about a certain faction, and when I found out, I was like, wow! So I don't want to ruin that for you guys. If you guys don't want to know a lot about the story or the factions, and you want to find out for them, probably skip this part. I would put an annotation, but y'all know what happened to the annotations. But the quest to become a werewolf is given to you by the companions. The companions are in Whiterun. They are a group of warriors. They're like a warrior type of faction. But they're kind of like warriors for hire. I don't really want to say mercenaries, but along those lines. Some of the companions are werewolves. The leader of the companions is a werewolf, and not all of them, but some of them are. Like the biggest members of the companions. There's like, what is there, like 8? The ones that you get quests from are most likely all werewolves. I am part of the companions, but I haven't gotten to that part where I get the quest yet. So werewolves, in human form, they can change at will. But they have to constantly feed to maintain their form. So besides the companions, there are other NPCs in Skyrim that are werewolves as well, and some of them you come in contact with and then you start like quests with them. Here are some of the advantages that you get as a werewolf. Max health and stamina increases by 100. You sprint faster, faster than a horse. Your crimes committed as a werewolf are not attributed to you, so no bounty. There's werewolf-specific shouts. I think this is pretty cool. There's Howl of Terror. This is a default shout. Causes fear for 60 seconds. There's also a summoning shout that's called Totem of Brotherhood. And this will summon 2 red wolf spirits to aid you. So that has some pretty cool. I think there's 4 shouts for the werewolf. You have no weight encumbrance, so you don't have to worry about the whole weight system. But you can't pick up anything while you're a werewolf. Wolves don't attack you. Some of the disadvantages are you can't obtain any sleeping bonuses anymore. And this is whether you're transformed or not. When you're a werewolf, you unequip all of your armor. If your character relies a lot on your armor for defense, when you're a werewolf, you may be kind of weak, just because, I mean, you will have those the bonus of being a werewolf, but you won't have that protection that some characters might have. Like say the characters that don't rely too much on heavy armor, and they have other types of defenses, will be a little bit stronger when they're a werewolf. So the ones that rely on like heavy armor, that haven't that don't really stand a chance without the armor, are going to be a little weaker. Your health doesn't recover, but you can regain it by feeding on human corpses. You can't use spells, shouts, or powers other than the werewolf-specific shouts. Almost all the NPCs will become hostile. There are exceptions, of course, like other werewolves from the companions, some members of the Dark Brotherhood. If you're seen being transformed, if someone sees you transforming into a werewolf, you do get 1,000 gold to your bounty. 1,000 gold added to your bounty. So the only time you don't get a bounty is when you commit a crime when you're already a werewolf, because they don't know who you are in real life. So if they see you transforming into a werewolf, they know who you are. So that's why you get that bounty. Oh, and as a werewolf, you get a forced third-person view. And you can't access your character menu. So there are quite a few disadvantages, pretty big ones. But this is, most of them are when you transform to a werewolf. Not just like always. It's just when you transform to a werewolf. It is possible to cure lycanthropy. Like I said, once you cure it, you can't get it back. So you have to be really sure if you don't want it. Oh, and once you're not a werewolf, because when you're a werewolf, you get access to the Underforge. The Underforge is, I believe, where you become a werewolf in the for the Circle of the Companions. It's an ancient chamber hidden underneath the Skyforge, used as a ritual chamber by the Circle of the Companions. So to cure lycanthropy, you have to go through a quest. And once you do cure yourself, once you're done with that quest, some of the werewolf guildmates, so some of the companions, will express desire to purify themselves as well. Because some of the you do learn early on that some of the companions don't want to be a werewolf. Like the main guy, the main companion, the leader, he doesn't want to be a werewolf. Like he wants to be cured. So once you get cured, they will express that that want as well. And you can, but you have to get in the quest that you do to cure yourself, you have to get this witch's head. So you would have to get another one for the companion that wants to be cured, and you have to travel with them while you're doing this. You have to go back to, I always forget how to pronounce his name, Ysgramor. His tomb. You can find some werewolves in some of the Silverhand bases, but they're in captivity, so they're in like cells. They're being held. If you just be warned, doesn't matter if you're a werewolf, if you're not in werewolf form and you release them, they will attack you. They won't attack you. They won't attack you if you're in werewolf form, but if you're not, they will. So the Silverhand are the werewolf hunters that I said, and they are the enemies of the companions because, you know, the companions are werewolves, or some of them are. They brandish their swords in silver so that they could kill the werewolf. And they pretty much want to rid Skyrim of werewolves. But the Silverhand aren't just werewolf hunters. They're actually also considered as being bandits. Like they will kill people on the roads, and even if they're not werewolves. Oh, and even though the Silverhand is a faction, you can't join them. Some of the related quests to werewolves are Ill Met by Moonlight and Totems of Hircine. There's a little reading in Skyrim that's called the Totems of Hircine, werewolf tales regarding artifacts of Hircine. Hircine is the god or the Daedra that bestowed the gift of lycanthropy, or the curse, like some people consider it. So the Totems of Hircine, this is a quest, by the way, in the companions, for the companions. And if you're not a werewolf, you can't complete this quest. The first totem is a carved skull of the wolf itself, used by those ancient shamans in the blood ceremonies that created our lineage. It is said to grant a great presence to those who prostrate themselves before it. You have to find the three, I believe it's 3 totems. One of them was the carved skull, another one is a thigh bone, and another one is a simple drum. And they all do different things, and you have to, I believe you have to find them all for this quest and stuff like that. I think Ayla, the companion, she's the one that gives you this quest. Here are just a few notes for lycanthropy. Once you're in beast form, you can't consciously choose to deactivate it. The only thing you could do is pretty much just wait until it wears off. When you're in werewolf form, you are granted 4 types of executions in werewolf form. So if you press a single attack button, you might leap on your enemy and savagely slashing their heads or bite their throats. Pressing both attack buttons simultaneously, you may have you throwing your enemy a great distance or lifting them off their feet and decapitating them. There is a quest, I forgot what it's called. Is it one of the ones that I mentioned? Yes, Ill Met by Moonlight, that one. The beginning of that one, of that quest, you meet this werewolf. He's being held in a cell by some guards, and he's being held because he killed a little girl. But he says that he didn't want to. Like Hircine had cursed him and stuff like that, and he had a ring, a ring of Hircine, and the ring of Hircine, this particular one. If you wear it, you can't, if you're a werewolf, you can't control when you transform. Like, you would just transform every now, like, all of a sudden you'd be a werewolf. You couldn't have any control over it. Like, you could just be washing the dishes and boom, you're a werewolf and you attack, whatever. Like, he says that he just felt this thirst and like this hunger, and he just transformed and he killed the little girl, and he's like, I didn't want to. But it's a pretty cool quest. He gives you this ring of Hircine, and I think you have to take it to Hircine to appeal to him and kind of say, leave him alone and don't, take this curse off of him or something like that. It was somewhere around those lines. But once you get that ring, you can't take it off. That's one of the things that I'm just like, damn it. I'm not a werewolf currently, but I have the damn ring, and I can't wear my other rings because I can't take this ring off. So I'm like, ugh. So I want to finish this quest as soon as possible, because I have a really cool ring that I want to wear, and I can't wear it because I have this Hircine ring. So just make sure you know that once you get that ring, you can't take it off until you finish the quest. But the quest goes on, and you either have the option later to either kill the werewolf, the guy that you had talked to, or let him live. And that's where I am right now. That's exactly where I left off. I'm saving him. I'm not going to kill him. I don't know what's going to happen after that, but that's exactly where I left off. I haven't played Skyrim in a little while because I've been trying to beat other games that I got before Skyrim. But I have been planning on going back to Skyrim because I kind of miss playing. Now, there are some bugs or some glitches when it comes to this. There's a lot of bugs, but when it comes to the lycanthropy bugs, sometimes there's a bug that occurs where receiving a new divine blessing will cure lycanthropy. And that's a glitch because it's not supposed to be that easy. There's also one where you can walk on the riverbed. This is kind of like the horse. There's a horse glitch as well. If you transform back into a human while you're underwater, you will be able to walk under the riverbed without having any problems breathing. Like, you can just explore underwater. I've seen a video of this, so it's pretty cool. Okay, this is, I don't know if you guys remember, but when I was talking about vampirism, I said that there is a glitch where you could technically be both a vampire and a werewolf. This is it right here. If a non-werewolf contracts sanguinary vampiris, or if you contract the disease of vampirism, but has not become a vampire yet, becoming a werewolf will not cure vampirism. So this will progress to the player being both vampire and werewolf at the same time. But since the werewolf feeding abilities overrides that of the vampire, the player cannot feed, and there will be no way to prevent progressing to stage 4 vampirism. So that's kind of weird, you being a werewolf and a vampire. I don't know what happens or how you even look, but yeah. There is also this really interesting thing. I it's a book in Skyrim, and it's called Physicalities of Werewolves, and this guy just goes into like describing them. He does like an experiment on a werewolf, on a Breton werewolf. He says that the subject's bodily proportions were thoroughly measured before, during and after transformation. As expected, the proportions were identical while in true form, but some minor swelling of the head was observed immediately after the return. Changes observed during transformation: 23% increase in shoulder width, 17% narrowing of hips, 47% lengthening of arms, 7% increase in finger length, not accounting for claws. As for the legs, the lengthening of the foot to several times its normal length seems to account for the otherwise negligible changes in the thigh region. And then he talks about how he examined during transformation the insides of a werewolf, and he says the heart is the first thing to swell, long before the lungs or bones shift to accommodate it. This may account for the intense chest pains that some of the afflicted report directly before their changes. And then he goes into some of the muscles in the legs, and he says, I had expected a strengthening, as the beasts are known for great power and speed, but they also seem to change color into a dusky brown. So yeah, it's pretty much all I have for werewolves, lycanthropy. I look forward to becoming a werewolf in Skyrim, and when I do become a werewolf in Skyrim, I will let you know of my experiences, because right now I can't really account for my own experience as a werewolf because I haven't become one, but it sounds like it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'd cure it. Like, I'd want to try it. I don't know. I have to try it. But yeah, if you guys have become werewolf, let me know what you guys think of it. And if you've become a vampire and a werewolf, not at the same time, but I mean, you've experienced both, let me know which one you think is better, or which one. What do you guys think about both of them? Is one better than the other, or? So yeah, hopefully you found these videos interesting. If you didn't see my vampirism one that I put up yesterday, check it out. It's called Elder Scrolls Skyrim Vampirism, I think. And I also put up a reading of Immortal Blood, but I made a mistake. I had read that Immortal Blood was in Skyrim, but then I started reading other stuff, and someone mentioned this. They were like, I read this in Oblivion, and I was like, oh, is this book in Oblivion? And it turns out that I believe it is just in Oblivion. I don't think it's in Skyrim. I changed the title and all that to Oblivion instead of Skyrim. That's pretty much it, and thank you for watching, and I will talk to you guys later.